Hello, and welcome to another FAQ Monday. I'm your host, Fluff, and again, I don't have coffee. It's too late in the day. Sparkling ice, it's growing on me. It's pretty legit. Strawberry lemonade, word up. 10 for $1, 10 for $10. Not 10 for $1, that would be crazy. And we're not crazy around here. First question, have you ever smashed a guitar because reasons? You know what? I have not smashed a guitar. And the initial thing that got into my brain that made me go, maybe I want to play guitar, was my dad was a big Who fan. And I saw video of Pete Townsend smashing a guitar. And I thought, huh, that's interesting. And then I saw Jimi Hendrix do it. This is long before I started playing guitar. And then when I got to be about 13, I saw Kurt Cobain do it. And I was like, wait, people let you do that? I don't want to do that. That was really the basis for me wanting to play guitar. I wanted to just smash the guitar, which I have yet to do because I love them and they have souls. Although I would love to get like, you know, do the classic rock and roll move. Like, you know, the last song you switch to like a cheapy import Squire guitar or something like that. And then you smash that. That's a classic move. Paul Stanley from Kiss used to do it. Kurt Cobain used to do it. A bunch of people did it. But I should do that at least. Not smash my main guitar. Just something, you know, not as expensive. Favorite PG rig rundown? You know, when I'm bored and I have some time to kill, I do love to watch old rig rundown episodes on the Premier Guitar YouTube channel. Some of them are incredible. And then some of them are really, really cringy because some of the people they get to host these things over the years have just been so just over the top or so hilariously awkward in front of a camera. But I'm not talking about John Bollinger. He's incredible and he's a ripping player and I love that guy and I think he should be on everything that Premier Guitar does. But I digress. Favorite rig rundowns. AC/DC is probably one of my favorite ones just because you're watching it just going, this is insane. Also, I do really like all the big bands. All those rig rundowns are great. You know, Guns N' Roses, you know, like the 2-hour long one. That one was really great. Joe Bonamossa's are really great. Any and all of the rig rundowns are pretty cool. The ones I don't like are generally the real small bands that all have the same rig. They're all running the JCM 800. They're all running a Les Paul. It's pretty boring. Bouncing Souls was a good one. And the Brian May one is probably my favorite one. It was, and the Green Day. The Green Day Premier Guitar rig rundown was hilarious because that guitar tech just didn't give an F, as we like to say. But yeah, Premier Guitar rig rundowns are classic. Thoughts on some of the newer Alice in Chains stuff like Rain or Fog compared to older albums like Dirt? For me, Alice in Chains is really two different bands. It's kind of like AC/DC, like you have Bon Scott AC/DC and you have Brian Johnson AC/DC. And they're both fantastic. And you know, people have their favorites, but both versions are awesome. That's kind of how I feel about Alice in Chains. I feel like everything post Lane Staley is not the same band whatsoever, although they're still a great band and I love the records, but I grew up on Lane Staley Alice in Chains. And for me, that's I just can't let go of that. I love William Duvall. I think he's a fantastic singer. The albums that they have put out are huge and the songs are fantastic and Cantrell's on the top of his game right now, in my opinion. But for me, they're just two different things. You know, Dirt is never gonna be Black Gives Way to Blue. Black Gives Way to Blue is never gonna be Dirt. It's just two different things, man. But they can coexist, and I love them all equally. Kinda. I really loved the early stuff you mixed for Rob Scallon. How did that relationship start? I think it was Rob that reached out to me. He had some fans that had sent him one of my videos or a shootout or something like that, I believe. And Rob reached out and was like, hey man, I really love what you're doing. And I couldn't believe Rob Scallon was reaching out to me because I had seen one or two of his videos. And at that time, he had a massive amount of subscribers. He had 30,000 subscribers. Now I'm being sarcastic, but at that time, this was 2013, that was huge. I mean, that was like what 1 million is today. You have to adjust for YouTube inflation, by the way. But yeah, he was like, you know, your stuff sounds great. It would be cool if you could mix my stuff, but I can't afford to pay you. And I thought, well, I really want that opportunity. So how about I mix your stuff and you just shout me out at the end of your video and put a link to my channel in the description, which paid off dividends when Slayo Banger went viral, when like the Metallica cover went viral, when Metal in Inappropriate Places went viral. That paid off huge and completely changed the face of this channel and changed my life forever. So I have Rob Scallon to thank for all of this. But that's how it started. We met up at NAMM, we went and we had a beer and we broed down. And the rest is, as they say, history. What is your power up routine when you walk in your studio? And do you leave everything on all the time? So generally speaking, what the question is referring to is, you know, what do I turn on and off on a daily basis and what do I leave on? Because a lot of studio gear is sensitive to power cycling. And generally speaking, if you don't have to power cycle it, you don't really want to. But to answer the question, my monitors are never off unless I go on like, you know, a vacation. If I'm out of the house and I'm gone for a week or something like that, or I'm on tour, I shut everything down. But generally speaking, I leave my monitors on and I leave my Universal Audio Apollo on and I leave the satellite on. And that's about it. I generally power down the processors, you know, the Helix, the Fractal, the Torpedo. Actually, I don't even turn those things on unless I am going to use them. Those aren't constantly on. You know, I leave my computer on. I do power cycle it, but other than that, I kind of tend to leave some things on. When you're not using them, they don't use that much power anyway. I have done tests where like I'll turn stuff off every single day. It doesn't make any difference in the power bill. So, but a lot of stuff, like I used to have a Satori monitor controller, and in the manual it says, do not turn this off unless you have to. So take that for what it's worth. But yeah, interesting question. What do you guys do for your studios? Do you generally leave everything on or do you turn it off every day? Should I be doing that? Will the new Les Paul make it into any Dragged Under tracks? Sadly, no. We were actually tracking the rest of the Dragged Under album at Tony's house up in Seattle when I got the Les Paul. I literally had it with me at the recording sessions, but we didn't use it. We ended up using the Burl Top Valentine for like 90% of everything. And then what we didn't use that on, we used a Balaguer Growler with Fishman Devin Townsend pickups in it. And that's literally the entire album because we wanted simple, effective, good sounding. And yeah, those two different guitars sound different enough. Nothing was really calling for like a Les Paul type of sound with passive pickups. Also, it was in the wrong tuning as well. It was set up for standard tuning, not drop C sharp. So that also added to it not being used on the actual recordings that you guys will hear in the future. But yeah, after that, maybe it'll make it onto something. You never know. Do you go to front of house with your cabinet or do you just use it for stage volume? So in my live setup, I have a Helix and there is a split and we have an in-ear monitor system, blah, 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 blah. And the direct sound from the Helix goes to the front of house. Now we have 212 cabinets, me and Josh. We use those for stage volume. We use those to fill out the in-ears because it just adds a little bit of goodness and a little bit of sonic glue to the guitar tones. Having 100% dry monitored guitar tones in our in-ears doesn't give you the same effect. You gotta move some air, at least a little bit. And we don't have the cabs cranked. I will emphasize they are not cranked, but they're loud enough to just add a little bit of thickness to what we're hearing in our in-ears. And everybody loves it, and all of us wished we could use giant stacks of guitar cabs, but it's just not practical for when we practice or when we play. So kind of as a compromise, we use the 212s and just reinforce what we have going on in our in-ears. And now, Fluff reads a tweet. Anyone who plays a show with the headstock tuner attached to their guitar is most likely an undercover cop. It's true. My suggestion to you this week is to check out the new album from Knocked Loose, A Different Shade of Blue. Great album, detuned hardcore at its finest. This album was produced and mixed by Will Putney, and it slaps. There's nothing really more I can say about it. All the applicable links down below in the description. You've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.